Hello, very good day to all of my student. Welcome back to my channel, Kunal sir at Jee and Neet Chemistry World. Today I am going to discuss another important topic, which is nothing but a Bohr atomic model. You will find everywhere Bohr atomic model, either whatever module you have or whatever book you have, you will find the Bohr atomic model. But my intention is to try to make it easy for you, as well as give a very new point from this Bohr atomic model. This is my intention. So now, as we know, the Rutherford atomic model was not able to successfully explain the structure of atom. Why? Because we know the Rutherford says there is a very small place is there in atom where the positive part of the atom or nucleus is present, and around the nucleus electron is moving in a circular path. But the point is, as per the Max Planck's quantum theory, we know whenever any charged particle is moving around a nucleus in a circular path constantly, it will lose its energy. When it will lose its energy, it will smaller its radius, and ultimately it falls into the nucleus and the structure of atom will not exist. To overcome this phenomena, the Niels Bohr in 1912 he proposed his postulate for the structure of atom. First, what are the postulates? Quickly look at. First, he says like that: the electron moving in a circular path, electron moving in a circular path, electron moving in a circular path around the nucleus, So electron moving in a circular path around the nucleus, which we call it as a what? Orbit. This circular path is called as a what? Orbit. There are different kind of orbit is there. Later on we introduced, which is KLMN. So now different kind of orbit are present. What is that? KLMN. Like that, different kind of orbit are present. So now next, whenever electron is present in a particular orbit, whenever electron present in particular orbit, either it not losing energy, or absorbing energy. So that's why from this point, what we can say, when electron is there in a particular orbit, its energy is a fixed or constant. We call it as a stationary state. So that means whenever electron is there in a particular orbit, we call it as it is there in a stationary state. So that means we call it as nothing but a stationary state. So that means whenever electron is there in a particular orbit, either it is not losing its energy, not absorbing its energy. That means it is there in a stationary state. By this way, he overcome the Rutherford atomic model demerits. And now next point, what he is telling, when electron is moving from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit, later on we know whenever there are certain value, n value is their principal quantum number value. Later on we will introduce that one itself. So whenever this principal quantum number value will increases, the energy of orbit will also be increases. That's why when electron is moving from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, then there will be a release of energy. When electron is going from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit, then there will be a absorption of energy. When electron move from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit, higher energy orbit, higher energy orbit, higher energy orbit, or higher energy orbit 2, higher energy orbit 2, higher energy orbit 2, lower energy orbit, 2 lower energy orbit, 2 lower energy orbit, 2 lower energy orbit, then only question of absorptions or emission of energy, absorption or emission of energy, absorption or emission of energy will come into the picture, energy will come into the picture, will come into the picture, in accordance with the Planck's quantum theory of radiation. That means energy will be absorbed or energy will be released in terms of packet of energy or bundle of energy. That means we know this equation, E equals to what? NH nu. This N can be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means later on we can introduce this N is a what? Number of photon. That means energy will be released or absorbed in terms of a bundle of energy or packet of energy. That means it's a discontinuous fashion. That means either 1h nu or 2h nu or 3h nu or 4h nu it will be absorbed or released. It never be 0.2h nu or 0.3h nu. That means it is a discontinuous fashion, not in a continuous fashion. That is nothing but a Planck's quantum theory of radiation. Later on we will discuss these things and we will give you clarity more on that also. So now if you look at over here, after that the very important point the Niels Bohr proposed in 1912, and because of this atomic model he got the Nobel Prize also. So now he told next point, very important point, whenever electron is moving, you look at, suppose this is my nucleus, whenever electron is moving in a particular orbit like this is your nucleus, and now here how much charge of proton is there? Jd. Now what is the distance between the electron and proton? That means the radius of the orbit where electron is revolving in a circular path, which is a r. Now he is proposing that orbit angular momentum, orbit angular momentum, which will be mvr, will be equals to nh by 2 pi, That means that where m is the mass of electron, where v is the linear velocity of electron, What is the mass of electron? My dear student? Everybody know these things. What is that value? 9 into 10 power of minus 31 kg. Okay na? Now what is the r? Is the radius of orbit. Where n is a, later on we introduce principal quantum number. That means if this value is increases, energy of orbit will be what? Increases. For the k cell, n equals to 1, L cell, n equals to 2. Like that it will come already you know in a 10 standard. So now n is a principal quantum number, where h is a Planck constant. Its value is already we know 6.6 into 10 power of minus 34 joule second. Its value is 6.6 into 10 power of minus 34 joule second. Is it clear? So now angular momentum, that means it is a these things the Niels Bohr is saying that angular momentum is a quantized, because n can be how much? N can be n value, principal quantum number, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means what will be the difference of angular momentum in a different orbit? It will totally based on the what? N value. Suppose first orbit h by 2 pi, second orbit 2h by 2 pi. Difference will be nothing but how much? So 2h by 2 pi minus h by 2 pi. So that means 2 minus 1 h by 2 pi is a difference. That means this angular momentum is a quantized, that point he is proposing over here itself. So now next very important point, the derivations part, that means the radius of a nth orbit from the Bohr atomic model. So now when electron is moving in a circular orbit, we know there will be two type of force will be there. That means here nucleus and here electron. Here the charge is Jd, here the charge is E. The charge of electron and the charge of proton, magnitude wise they have a same value. Why? Because the charge of electron, what is the charge of, that means the magnitude of the charge of electron. Electron will be minus 1.6 into 10 power of minus 19 coulomb, where the charge of one proton will be plus 1.6 into 10 power of minus 19 coulomb. That means magnitude wise they will be same value, only the charge will be different. Electron will be minus and the proton will be plus. That's why the relative charge of a proton is a plus 1, the relative charge of a electron is a what? Minus 1. But that's why the representation of electron and proton both can be done by E. One is nothing but a plus E, one will be nothing but a minus E. So that's why, because their magnitude will be same. Both are 1.6 into 10 power of minus 19 coulomb. One is a plus sign, other is a minus sign. So now if you look at over here, this distance is there R. Then immediately this direction towards the nucleus, there one force will be acting, that is a centripetal force, that is a centripetal force. Outside direction there will be one force, that is a centrifugal force, that is a centrifugal force. And because both the force will balance, that's why the inertia will be, the path of inertia will be there this direction. That's why electron is moving in a what? Circular path. So now whenever these two forces are balancing, that is the key for the derivations of radius of Bohr orbit for nth orbit. Now if you look at over here, the electron is moving in a circular path. This force centripetal and centrifugal is balancing to each other. Centripetal is nothing but a electrostatic force of attraction, which explains the Coulomb's law. If there are two charges, they are Q1 and Q2. Everybody knows this one. If there are two charges, they are Q1 and Q2 separated by R, then if the same charge is there, there will be repulsion. If there are opposite charges there will be attraction. Then what will be that force of attraction and repulsion? Then if as per the Coulomb's law, that force of attractions we can write down K Q1 Q2 by R square. If the attraction is there, energy will be released, sign will be minus. Whenever the repulsion is there, energy will be, the repulsion means energy will be absorbed, positive. That's why K Q1 Q2 R square. K is a constant which is related to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, where the epsilon naught is a permittivity factor. For K for the SI unit, this K value will be 9 into 10 power of 9, whereas in CGS unit this K value will be equals to 1. So now this is the basic Coulomb's law. So now that Coulomb's law if I apply for the centripetal force, that means here the charge is Jd, here the charge of electron is E, two different charge Q1 Q2, distance is there the R, then immediately my centripetal force will be equals to Ze into E by the distance is R square. Before that K will be there constant, and then this will be balance the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force will be mass of electron into linear velocity. This is a linear velocity mv square by their distance, which is R. That means this is your centripetal force K Jd into E by R square equals to mv square by R. mv square by R is the centrifugal force. So now both the forces are balancing to each other. That's why the path of inertia is there, electron moving in a circular orbit. Now if you look at over here, this R and this power is cancelled. From there what we are getting, tell me? We are getting over here, if you look at mv square will be equals to kz square by R. These equations we are getting. Or from here I can write down v square will be equals to kz square by mr we are getting. This is we are getting the velocity of electron kz square equals kz square by mr we are getting. Now already we know, again from if you look at from the quantizations of orbit angular momentum, there I got the relation mbr equals to nh by 2 pi. From here what I can write down, my dear student? From here I can write down, if you look at v equals to nh by 2 pi mr. From here I can write down v equals to nh by 2 pi mr. What we can write down from where? V will be equals to nh by 2 pi mr. So then immediately what I can write down? V square will be equals to, tell me? V square will be equals to nh square h square 4 pi square, m square, r square. This is your v square. Both are representing the both here v square equals to kz square by mr, there v square equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. That means both term is representing v square, then we can equate them. Then if you look at over here, then what I can write down? I can write down over here kz square by mr will be equals to what we got? n square h square. Let us look at previous slide. What we got previous slide? If you look at, if you were to, this will come, we can easily substitute that value. There we got, you look at kz square by mr, and here v square equals to n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. So that one we will put over here. So n square h square by 4 pi square m square r square. We are getting this one. Now if you look at over here, this m here power cancelled, here r power cancelled, then immediately this r, if I bring this side, what we are getting over here, then r will be equals to n square h square by k into z square, 4 pi square m. We are getting these things. Now if you look at over here, then we got here, if you look at the E value is nothing but all the value if you put in CGS unit, that means H will be equals to 6.6 into 10 power of minus 27 arc CGS unit, and then in mass of electron will be equals to 9.1 into 10 power of minus 28 gram, and then your E value will be correspondingly, if you put in that E value, if it is there, E charge of electron or proton, which will be 4.8 into 10 power of minus 10 ESU, electrostatic unit. This is in CGS unit. And then according to H we put, and then K value for that is CGS unit, I told you it is will be 1. If you put that one, and ultimately your equations, the radius Rn equation is to come 0.529 into n square by z angstrom, These equations we have to remember always. From there we will do the magic from this equation. That means you look at n square by z, all other part is a constant term value will be there, that is nothing but a kz square, 4 pi square m, all those things is nothing but a your that constant term, and that value if you put, ultimately this equation reduces to 0.529 n square by z. Now n is nothing but a what? N is nothing but a orbit number, or we can later on we can explain it, this is a principal quantum number. Later on we can explain this n is nothing but a principal quantum number. So now z will be equals to atomic number, This Bohr model will be applicable for hydrogen atom or hydrogen like atom. This Bohr model will be applicable for hydrogen atom or hydrogen like atom, That means now we will go for the different explanation from